Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we are going to be going over the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon. Now in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits. Meaning I don't mix it with any kind of external things that would increase its weapon performance. That would be things like Warframe abilities or pets putting statuses on enemies. I just test the weapon built out by itself, and I let the viewer make their own intelligent conclusions about adding those external things on the weapon. Okay, let's get into the Gammacor here. So the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon, it's important that you get the Synoid version. So the Synoid version comes from the Cephalon Suda, I believe that's her name, Cephalon Suda Syndicate. She has all the Synoid weapons. Now, there is a special effect with the Synoid versions that give you energy. So it's a very, very good utility weapon. A lot of the Synoid weapons, especially this one, I think this is the best one, can be used as like utility weapons in builds. And in fact, I use this a lot for like Zephyr, Titania, things like that. Well, not Titania yet, but I'm going to be using this on my Titania once I can get a primary kick gun. Okay, so I've actually kind of did this build once before, but I did it during my Zephyr build. And I think if people didn't watch the Zephyr, they'll be missing out on this. And this is a really cool weapon. So I kind of wanted to just like make its own separate build, because even I forgot about it. I made a whole tier list on weapons I had done already, and I forgot to put this guy in there. So, okay, let's go into the build here. So what is the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon? So the regular fire mode is a laser, pretty basic laser. It's not a chaining laser. It's just a basic laser beam. It's okay, it does a good amount of damage, but it's not very powerful, just because like if you compare it to things that chain and hit like 5 targets at once, this is not that. But it has an Incarnon mode. So what does the Incarnon mode do? So when you get headshots with the regular mode, it's going to fill up that bar, of course, and then you're going to flip it to Incarnon mode. And the Incarnon mode is going to, let me scroll down here for the Incarnon form. The Incarnon mode is going to, you're going to shoot it. It's going to hit a target or the floor. You can shoot it at the floor. I usually shoot it at the floor, honestly. And it's going to suck enemies in a radius, and then it's going to explode. And that's it. It does a lot of damage, big AoE, but because it's a AoE heavy weapon as far as the Incarnon goes, it's going to be built a little bit differently. So like if I was building out this weapon for its laser mode, I would probably use things like galvanized crosshairs. I might even use galvanized shot. But if you're building things out for AoE, like you can't use certain mods. So like I'm not using these 2 mods here. So, okay. I think that's about, so it has innate cold on the weapon, on the radial attack. And so you can actually get viral by just adding toxic. So that's really good. And I think that is about it for the special things. I think so. Okay, so the Synoid effect. It's called entropy. So with Syndicate weapons, you're going to have a little icon in the bottom right that is like the Syndicate medallion or icon. And when you get kills or affinity with that weapon, it's going to fill. And once it's full, it's going to trigger the Syndicate effect. Now the Synoid effect is entropy. So when it fills, it's going to trigger a 25-meter magnetic explosion. The explosions on pretty much all of these Syndicate weapons, like across all of the Syndicates, are pretty garbage. But you get status out of it, so hey, that's something. But what it's going to do, though, is it's going to restore 25% of your energy. And it's going to increase your energy max by plus 25% for 30 seconds. So it's a 30-second buff, and it refills 25% of your energy. It's a little bit weaker than it actually sounds because it's base. It's base energy. So on a Warframe that has a large base pool, that's actually a pretty decent effect right there. On a Warframe that has like a lower or average pool, it's kind of meh. But this is why it makes it a good utility weapon. Synoid Gammacor is really good to use in conjunction with another stronger weapon. And anytime you have some kind of a energy issue, you can just switch to the Synoid Gammacor, throw out a couple of the Incarnon shots out there, and then just switch back to your main weapon, and you get a big boost of energy. So, okay, let's get into the mods here. Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot. Prime Fulmination is going to increase the blast radius of that blast. Prime Pistol Gambit and Prime Target Cracker are going to be our crit chance, crit damage mods. I'm going to go over real quick the other crit chance mod, critical, Creeping Bullseye. So a lot of times I'll use Creeping Bullseye over Prime Pistol Gambit because it's a little bit more crit and you usually don't feel that fire rate. But on a weapon that's already slow, any kind of reduction to fire rate feels even worse than it is. And so I think for this weapon specifically, and some other weapons that are very, very slow, I do pick Prime Pistol Gambit over Creeping Bullseye. There's a very little difference when it comes to the crit chance. Like I think this one's 86, and I think if I put Creeping Bullseye on, it goes up to 90. So it's not that big of a difference, and it feels a lot better to shoot. All right, Lethal Torrent is going to be for fire rate and multi-shot. Hornet Strike is going to be for flat damage. Magnum Force is an option in this slot, and there's a few options here. I'll go over all of the options. I'm going to go finish the rest of these mods, and then I'll come back to this spot. So Magnum Force is just more flat damage, but there's more options for here. Pistol Pestilence is going to be our toxic 60/60, and this is going to mix with the innate cold on the weapon to make viral on that explosion. Ruinous Extension is going to increase our beam length on our non-Incarnon. Now, I was looking through the Exiluses to see if there was anything that maybe would make the Incarnon feel a little bit better, and there's really not anything. I mean, I guess you can go with Lethal Momentum, but it's got a pretty quick projectile speed already anyway. So I just feel like Ruinous Extension might help you fill the Incarnon a little bit easier, but it probably is not even needed. So if you want to be cheap and save a mod slot, you probably don't even got to do anything here. All right, Arcanes. I'm going to go with Secondary Merciless for 360% flat damage and a 30% reload speed. So just because it's an AoE weapon, you're going to be getting AoE kills. You're not going to be getting headshots or anything, so we can't do like Secondary Deadhead here. So, okay, let's circle back to that Magnum Force slot. Because, of course, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you got flat damage on Merciless, you got flat damage on Hornet Strike. Why the hell do you need flat damage on Magnum Force? It's because there's not really anything better. That's why. Because this is an AoE weapon, like, we've kind of spent all of the good mods that work on AoE weapons. You know, a lot of the other good mods don't work. Like Galvanized Crosshair doesn't work. Galvanized Shot doesn't work. And so we're left with 3 mods that are possibilities for this slot. And they're all kind of meh. What does that mean? That means this is your Riven slot. If you have a Riven, you plop it in this slot right here, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't have Riven, I'm gonna go over your 3 shitty options you have. So the first shitty option is Magnum Force. It's gonna give you a little bit more flat damage on top of your already high flat damage. The second shitty option is going to be the Cold 60/60. So you pop off Magnum Force, and you're gonna put on your Cold 60/60. Well, why do we need to put the Cold 60/60 on if we already make viral? Well, it's because it's going to increase your status chance a little bit more. It'll make your viral procs a little bit more consistent. That's why this is an option. It's not needed because you're already making viral with this in the innate, but it's an option because you get a little bit more status chance with it. And your third shitty option is going to be Sharpened Bullets. Sharpened Bullets is going to give you 75% crit damage when you aim. So you're going to have to aim in. You don't have to aim smartly. You can aim at the floor if you want. You just have to be aimed in. If you want to be lazy, you can use Hollowed Bullets. But you get 15% more crit damage using this by just pressing your right click when you shoot, which is not really an issue. So Sharpened Bullets is the third shitty option in this slot. Sharpened Bullets probably is the best option out of the 3. Because crit damage, like there's less diminishing returns on crit damage than anything. But it is a little bit annoying having to aim in all the time. Well, not all the time, but just when you shoot. Again, you can go to Hollow Bullets too. Hollow Point. Sorry, not Hollow Bullets. Hollow Point. This is 60 crit damage. This is 75 crit damage. You don't have to press right click when you left click with this one. You have to press right click when you left click with this one. You get 15 more out of this. It's up to you. So all three of those are options. I'm going to put on my stupid Magnum Force. That's the dumbest option, but it's an option. Again, that's your Riven slot. So if you have a Riven, just plop it right there, and you don't have to make any of those three stupid options there. So, okay, that is how you build the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon. Now I'm going to go over the evolutions for you. First evolution is nothing. You've unlocked the weapon. Congratulations. Second evolution is a pretty crappy option here. So first one is infused shots. Well, I guess second one. Second one is infused shots. It increases your base damage by +6. And increasing base damage is pretty decent because everything scales off of that. So like I know it's +6, doesn't seem like a lot, but it's okay. And then when you spend 50 energy, it increases your base damage by another +5, and that can stack up to 4 times. But they fall off every 10 seconds. So you have to be using a frame that wants to press a button every 10 seconds or sooner. If you're not playing a Warframe that needs to press a button every 10 seconds or sooner, this is not the ability for you, infused shots. If you are, this is the ability for you. Now we'll go over the first kind of crappy option here. Sage's Resolve. This increases your base damage by +10, so instead of 6, you get 10. And if you have a channeled ability active, you get +25 multi-shot, 25% multi-shot. That's also pretty crappy. And you also have to have a conditional with this. So with this one, you have to have a channeled ability active. So these evolutions, I feel like any Warframe that needs extra energy can make use of the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon. Whether or not you can even trigger these 2 evolutions, that's not, you can still get a crap load of energy from the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon as a utility weapon. But if you're trying to build this thing and do damage with it, like, it is pretty crappy, these 2 options here. It's like you have to have a Warframe that has a channeled ability, and then all you're getting is +25% multi-shot and some flat damage. Or not flat, but +10 base damage. Or this one, which you have to have a Warframe that presses an ability button every 10 seconds or sooner. So they're both pretty crappy. I'm going to use the infused shots for this video. I have like a stupid ability that I can just press every 10 seconds and make sure it's like up all the time. So that's why I'm going to do the video on this. But either one of these are fine. They're both, honestly, they're both minor DPS increases. So pick whatever minor DPS increase that your Warframe is capable of proccing. So, okay, in this third evolution slot, first one, increase magazine reloaded when, or plus 50% magazine reloaded when holstered. Doesn't work on the Incarnon mode. Last one here, increases magazine capacity by +40. Doesn't work on the Incarnon mode. It does work on the regular fire mode. So like that's an option if you just want to kind of have a big pool when you go to get your headshots. I use this one, which is +8 range, which also doesn't work on the Incarnon mode, but it helps with your non-Incarnon being able to get headshots at range. So all 3 of these are again kind of crappy options because they don't really do much for the actual like Incarnon version of the weapon. Okay, 4th evolution, and the one that actually like does something for this thing, or something easily. The first one does something. It's just not very easy. You have to have something that procs it. So last one here. We're going to be going with Critical Parallel. It's going to increase our crit chance by +10%, our base crit. So with this, we're able to get like almost 90% crit, which is almost full yellows. Almost full yellows. You're going to see whites once in a while, but you're almost going to be in full yellows. And then it's going to increase your crit damage by a little bit too, 0.2. Survivor's Edge here is just kind of like not enough of each. You get a smaller amount of crit chance and you get a smaller amount of status chance, just like not enough of each basically. And then the third one here, Elemental Balance, increases your status chance by +10. I clicked this just to make sure I wasn't missing it because there are some weird weapons where you click Elemental Balance where it says +10% and it goes up by like +500%. And it's not the case. If I click this thing, it only goes from 28 to 38. So this is not like the Boar or the Strun. So we're going to be going with Critical Parallel for the Synoid Gammacor here. And that's it. That's how you build the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon. I'm going to show this because I don't mix this on with any externals. I'm going to show this on a big dumb Anaros with no Archon shards that increase weapon performance. No mods or arcanes on the Anaros that increase weapon performance, and with a pet with no sentinel weapon and no mods on the pet that increase weapon performance. All right, let's get in there. I am going to try my best to remember to press my. I put like a throwaway ability in his one slot just so it doesn't actually affect gameplay. It's just infested mobility. It makes my like parkour speed quicker or something stupid. But it's something I can press every 10 seconds. And it actually doesn't affect movement either. Like I can press it right here. I just pressed it and it didn't even do anything. It's like no casting animation or anything either. So that's pretty cool. All right, once in a while you will see me press my 3. That's just going to give me armor and status immunity, and that's the only thing it's going to do. So for a damage weapon, I think this is it's okay. I think the better story of this weapon is its potential with energy regen. I'm going to actually shoot it a little bit slow here so you can kind of see what the effect does. So let me find a group here. So I'm going to shoot this in the middle. It's going to suck them in, and then it's going to explode. I like to shoot groups of 2 shots because the actual viral proc doesn't happen except for the explosion. And so, like, the bulk of the damage that's coming out of this, you're not getting the viral proc. They're not becoming under the effect of the viral proc on the first explosion. So that's why I like to shoot 2 of them. Each group I like to just shoot 2. And I have already forgot to press my infested mobility every 10 seconds. That's going to be a nightmare. I think there are a lot better weapons in the game. Like when it comes to damage, that I think this is just more of like a utility weapon. It's a very good secondary utility weapon. But for damage, there's so many options in the game. This is okay, but it's not gonna like be at the same level as some of the crazy ones. There's forced impact procs on the suck. So like when you shoot it and it starts sucking them, it'll give them forced impact procs. But they don't do damage, so they can't be affected with hemorrhage, unfortunately. That was something I was like, oh, maybe I can get a like slash or something on it. Nah, you can't. They just get random non-damaging impact procs. You can also self-stagger yourself. I was looking for the Exilus that eliminates self-stagger, and I realized it was for primaries, not for secondaries. I was like, damn it. Like, that would have been a perfect Exilus, since everything else is crap. So if you notice, though, there's a little Syndicate icon in the bottom right. I think it's filling up right now, and then, yeah, it's about to trigger. So I think my next kill just triggered right there. So now I got a big burst of energy. Not that I need it on an Aros, but, you know, if you're playing a Warframe that needs energy, you can kind of have this, like, pre-filled up, and then when you need energy, you switch to it, shoot a couple of Incarnate shots, and shebang, you got it. Let me grab some life supports before I forget. As I do. I think this is pretty shitty against... Yeah, it's pretty shitty against Eximuses, unfortunately. Because there's no slash. You can... obviously, you can mod this for Corrosive, like if you're going to go straight Grineer. I'm just modding this for like a general setup with Viral. And if you're doing Whispers content, you probably want to do Corrosive. And to do Corrosive, I think you would have to use the Magnum Force slot. You'd have to use Viral and Electric there. Which I know it's hard. It's hard making the decision not to use Magnum Force. It's such a good mod. One day this Eximus will die. You know, the crazy thing is, if you build this for damage for the non-incarnate, it does actually a little bit better against big enemies. Because you can actually use it with like the crit chance mods that'll get it into like orange crits and stuff. I think it might even go to reds. No, I think oranges. I think it's like high oranges. Alright, we have the Acolyte. We'll see how it does. It's pretty garbage against Eximuses. That doesn't always translate to the Acolyte, though. Actually, I think this is going to be okay against the Acolyte. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That's an Acolyte chunker. Just randomly shoot at the floor, and he'll die eventually. So, good against the Acolyte, good against Trash. Not so much at Eximuses. You know, having my status immunity might help me not getting knocked over all the time. I was like, man, I'm getting knocked over a lot more than usual. The Eximuses are just living their best lives right now. They're thinking about starting a family during this firefight here. Now, to trigger that Syndicate effect, you just need affinity, so it doesn't matter where it comes from. Like, you don't... If you switch to this to try to get some energy, you don't need to be killing Eximuses. You just fire this new pack of trash, and you'll trigger that affinity effect, Syndicate effect. So, I mean, this does have, like, some killing potential. That's why I'm, like, showing it as it's, like, damage. Like I do for most weapons, you know, I take it through these tests. We'll see how many kills it gets at the end. But I think this is more of a utility weapon. But it has trash gun potential at least. And I am not doing very good at keeping that, like, cast an ability every 10-second button going. I'm randomly remembering it. Oops. Well, there we go. I think for a utility weapon, this is a top tier utility weapon. This is like a best in slot for some Warframes. For damage, hell no. Damage, this is not a best in slot. For utility though, yeah. I think Zephyr, it's really friggin' strong. Titania, it's really strong. Any Warframe that doesn't use their secondary slot but might need a utility weapon to give them a big burst of energy in shitty situations. So like if Titania gets knocked out of Razor Wing and needs to recoup some energy, she can just fire a burst of this and she's good to go. Where if Zephyr's getting low, she can just switch to her Synoid Gammacor and restock herself a bit. I like heavy channeling Warframes. I think this is really good on.
You are running out of time. Consider extraction.
Ugh. I'm feeling that parkour velocity of whatever the hell this thing is. Infested mobility I put on my one. Alright, we're almost at 10 minutes, and then we will go into Lua Conjunction as our last test. And I think we're going to do horrible there. I think we'll fail at 5 minutes, because I don't think this is going to kill the Thraxes in any decent amount of time. I mean, look at this. This is a good test right here. There's an energy leech Eximus right in front of us. All we've managed to do is self-stagger ourselves. Oh, you can actually shoot while you're in an RS's little thing, too. I found out the other day you could reload. I guess you could also shoot. That's crazy. All right, 10 minutes, 577. How I rate weapons is like 350 to 450 I would consider an average weapon. So this would look like it's above average. Like this would look like it's well above average. But it's bad at Eximuses, like really bad. And that's a big negative. Like it's okay if a weapon's bad at Acolytes because you can just switch to a melee and whack them down and they only come out once every 5 minutes. But like on Steel Path, there's Eximuses all over the place. So if your weapon is bad at Eximuses, that's a big hit to it. So like normally I'd be like, oh, this is an above average weapon because of the kill count, but damn, that you got to take that Eximus crappiness into account. And it is crappy against Eximuses. All right, let's go on Lua Conjunction and fail at 5 minutes because we can't kill the Thraxes. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. This might be like one of the only well, I guess there might be like a few others. This might be one of the Incarnate weapons where I think the non-Incarnate form is better than the Incarnate form. At certain things, I guess. I guess a trash killing the Incarnate is probably better. But a big dude killing, well, I guess the regular fire mode might not be that great against the Acolyte. It's just better at Eximus killing, I guess. Damn it, Salt. You keep forgetting to put your status immunity on. You know, the other thing, too, like, this is kind of like a grouping effect, too. You could be playing a Warframe that might benefit from a grouping effect. And if you do, this could be a good weapon for that, too. I can't think on the top of my head, like, what that would be good for, but, like, it's a possibility. Like, you know. Maybe group him in for a big melee hit and give him a whack. Group him in for a glaive hit. That could be pretty cool. Something where you don't have to, like, switch weapons, you know, like you wouldn't want to group and then have to switch to your primary. But, like, you can group and then, like, give him a whack in melee or use an ability. Let's start kind of heading towards the life support. I mean, I think I'm collecting the yellow life supports at like a decent rate. But I think once the Thraxes come out, I'm going to be needing to hit the big life supports during the fight. Because it might take me until like the sequel to Warframe comes out to kill them. I wanted to do this video today. So I wanted to do it because it was kind of hidden in the Zephyr video, number one. And not everyone's going to watch the Zephyr video because my Warframe videos are like a friggin' hour long. And then the other reason is I just did a Titania video yesterday, but I didn't show off the Synoid Gammacor build because I was like, oh, it's in the Zephyr video. And then I'm like, why are people going to watch a friggin' Zephyr video if they're interested in Titania? So, like, let me put out the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon video like by itself. Got Angst. He's the easy one. He's the Valkyr Acolyte. I don't even know what build he uses from Valkyr. I just know he goes down like a sack of potatoes. Alright, come on. We got to get you down before the Thraxes come. I got to get ready for my boss fight. You're not the boss, Angst. Thraxes. Oh, we're going to fight in this room, the music room. Let me fill up here. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Here they are. I'm going to try the Incarnon first, and then like we'll see if the Incarnon's doing really, really bad, which it probably will be. We'll switch to using the non-Incarnon and see if there's any difference. I think the non-Incarnon will be slightly better, but I don't think it's going to be that much better. Just because it's not built out specifically for the non-Incarnon. To build for the non-Incarnon, you have to use a lot different mods. We're going to tickle this man to death. Where's your head at? Where's your head at? There he is. Keep in mind, there's only one Thrax. We still got another one in the room there, chilling. He's back there smoking a cigarette, getting ready for his fight. I'm gonna have to hit a life support. Oh, there's one in the room that he's in. Hit this one right here. We got him, boys. Almost. There we go. Next Thrax. Let's get some shots into him, then we're going to go for that life support that was in that room back there. What are you doing here? He's like standing on the door frame. It's not very nice. I want to kind of kill him where there's trash enemies so I can collect a little bit of the yellow life supports while I fight. Do that life support. I'm going to have to run and probably hit all 3 of these stupid ones and then head back. One. Hey, maybe we'll make it past the 5-minute mark. We're going to make it past the 5-minute mark at 10 minutes. We're going to finish the 5-minute Thraxes at 10 minutes. That's the meta. That's the meta right there. You eliminate... We're basically eliminating the 10-minute Thraxes because we still have the 5-minute Thraxes up. It's the correct way to fight. Oh, is that him right there? Yeah, I think he's in ethereal form. Oh, great. Now it's Malice. He's going to put mag bubbles on us. Try to get us to down ourselves. You know, I might want to do that, Malice. Don't tempt me. All right, I dropped the mag bubble. He's going to put another mag bubble on us eventually. Got to kind of watch out for it. Or listen for it, but I can never stop running my mouth. Where's your heads at? Oh my goodness, you guys got such big shoulder pads. What happened to the Thrax? Oh, the mag bubble's on me. I was like, why am I taking so much damage? It's flying up in the sky. I don't think I can hit that other one. I'm just going to try to do as much damage as I can. Maybe I can get this Thrax down 4 or 5 minutes. Yes. Yes. We technically did it, and then we ran out of life support at 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Hell yeah. I know we're losers, but I feel like a winner right now. Okay. Into extraction. As you can see, not the best Eximus or Thrax killer. Good against trash. Pretty decent against the Acolyte. Very, very bad against Eximuses and Thraxes. And there's not really a good way to make it better unless you're going to build for the non-incarnate. And that would be a completely different build, because then you're not really making full use of its like Syndicate effect. You can still trigger the Syndicate effect from the non-incarnate, but it's not as easy. It's not just like a switch, shoot 2 shots, and then bam, you trigger the Syndicate effect. You have to do a little bit more like aiming and getting galvanized crosshairs, stacks, and things like that. So to build for the Incarnate, you need to build it the way I do. And the way I do is really garbage against those heavily armored dudes. So that is the Synoid Gammacor. I think even if you built it out for its non-incarnate damage form, I think it's still a mediocre weapon. So I think the best way to build out the Synoid Gammacor Incarnon is as I do. It's still a pretty decent trash killer. All you need to do is kill trash to trigger that Syndicate effect, and it becomes a top tier utility weapon. You don't want to use this as your main damage source. You want to actually be using like a primary or a melee, or maybe you have some kind of like Warframe ability that you're killing everything with, like maybe with like Protea or something. And whenever you're having an energy issue, you switch to the Gammacor, fire 2 of those Incarnate shots out, shabing, shabing, you got a bunch of energy, and then you go back to doing whatever you were doing. So that's the proper way to play the Synoid Gammacor. As an actual damage, not so good. So that's it. I hope you guys liked it. If you liked it, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. And thanks for watching, guys. All right, bye.